Hello and welcome to the AI Summit London. My name is Rory Duquet and I have the absolute pleasure of being joined by Emma, the executive VFX producer at Lux Eterna. Lovely to meet you. Going straight into my first question, if you'd like to tell me a little bit about your background and how you landed up at Lux Eterna.
So I started my career as an actor. Doing touring theatre around the UK and in Hungary for about 5 years, and then realised when I was working that I was naturally organising as I was going and wanted to be more stable in life and live normally and not out of a suitcase. So I started as a receptionist at Post House in Soho about 20 years ago, and I've worked my way up through different elements, working on production in Yorkshire. I worked in advertising for about 15 years, doing visual effects and motion graphics for advertising. And then I moved to Bristol 10 years ago this summer, and I've worked in visual effects for broadcast and high-end TV for the last 10 years. So Bristol is the green Hollywood of TV and film. So I've worked on a lot of things that David Attenborough's narrated. So Blue Planet 3 is happening at the moment, Frozen Planet, Planet Earth, Solar System with Brian Cox, The Crown. We're doing a lot of unscripted at the minute. So Squid Games, The Final Challenge. We're very fortunate to be busy.
Amazing. And you're touching on all these productions. I'm going to just go deep dive straight into the first question here, which is, how does the human element on set performances and direction to editorial judgment and design choices shape the story and emotional impact productions that have high VFX elements to them?
So for me, this is my personal opinion, that all successful production, the human element is at the heart of it and is the driver. And when visual effects is worked beautifully is when it's just enhancing what has been created, in my opinion.
Very good. And how do you think the VFX will evolve over time to balance that human emotion with effects used as audience looks for new experiences?
So visual effects for some directors already is a dirty word, and they say they don't use visual effects in their big productions, but it is in absolutely everything that you're consuming across natural history and for TV and film. I think, again, when it's used at its best is when the work is invisible. Audiences can get tired if there's too much visual effects, too much green screen. They can tell it's there. For, some audiences, that's what they want to find. That's what they want to watch. They're more sci-fi audiences. But for me, it works best when you're not realizing you're watching it. When that human story and you're emotionally gripped and not, if you're picking apart the technology, I don't think film or the TV has done its job.
So it should blend as one.
I think it should blend as one to take you along to take you along and allow you, you watch TV and film, or I do, to escape. So if you're sat analysing, you're not having that beautiful moment of escape.
Yeah, absolutely. And in your panel session later this afternoon, the debate focuses on whether AI is a creative revolution or as a threat to human originality. From your perspective, how can AI be used to be a collaborative tool within the VFX world?
So there's two strands to this in a creative and a technical sense. So the first one is idea creation. Now, I've seen AI used very successfully when it's used as a tool to bounce ideas off and see different perspectives, or sometimes it will add legal perspectives or cultural differences where the director might not have thought these things, and it can work successfully. But that it's working successfully when it's collaborating with a human. If someone's adding prompts and it's doing the whole job for them, it doesn't seem to work as well. I think you need to almost be a master at your craft in order to get the best out of AI. Then second part, there is shot creation, where we use AI as a tool. So in visual effects, AI is just another tool in our toolkit, which our toolkit is always evolving and will continue to evolve. And again, when AI is on show and the full shot is AI, the feedback I'm receiving is that audiences can see that and they're not, it's taking them out of they're like I was saying before, they're starting analyzing their shot. They know it's AI and it's taken them out of the emotional journey. When it's been used well is when AI has created a small element that's within that shot. The same as visual effects. So there's two sides, creation and shot creation. And when it's used peppered in collaboration with humans, then that's when it's most successful, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. And just touching on timelines for a minute, traditionally, I think we've always thought sometimes VFX comes because of the post-production and the nature of how things work. But more and more now, with the capabilities of AI, I think there's a lot more previs stuff and a lot more on the front end that can be kind of fabricated and help even with kind of character creation. How's that impacting the workforce, VFX artists, producers, with that process?
So visual effects, I do a lot of visual effects masterclasses because visual effects is an element of the filmmaking process that is not taught. So filmmakers who go to university or film school, they might have a day or two taught about what visual effects are. So when a director comes to brief us, sometimes they don't know the language they should be using to get the best out of us. In some aspects, AI is a good tool for them to be able to get out of their head their creative vision. So I don't think it can replace visual effects, but I do think it can be a good tool where that the specialist language is just not there. So storyboards, previs, I want it to look kind of like this. It's really good at getting a director 80% of the way there. But what it can't do, in my opinion, in today's AI is get us 100% of the way there. So I do think there is a disconnect with commissioners and producers where they think they're going to save a lot of money because we're all going to use AI and it's going to happen in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And that just is not the case.
Yeah, that makes kind of sense. And just touching on the more ethical side of the AI generated work, such as copyright and ownership, well, how do you think that transpires into the creative industry and how are you addressing those challenges within the sector?
So Luxa Turner, we have a creative technologist within our company, and also we've been working closely with Bristol University, looking at exactly this, looking at copyright and ethics. I think all the broadcast channels have now finally done their work and had time to catch up in terms of copyright and ethics. So I think the first conversations that a producer and a channel should be having is exactly around that. What are we allowed to use on this production? What is a useful tool for your team and for our teams? There's a lot of channels that are already starting to have their own tools made that they're making available to post teams. So I do think larger VFX houses and channels have it in hand. If you are a smaller content creator using a freelancer, I will be having an upfront conversation and putting a contract in place of what can and can't be used and where this creator has got their elements from so that you're covered in case something comes out and it's not been quite prepared for. But for the larger companies and channels, it's all contracted. It's covered.
Signed, sealed, and delivered.
I feel quite confident in it. But I do feel for the producers in the big channels, there's an education piece missing. Just like visual effects, and they don't know what that is. This is another tool that they don't know what it is and what it means and how to use it. And so they're just thinking it's shortening timelines and shortening budgets, and that, sadly, is not the case.
Understood. There's a whole section out in the London AI Summit that's dedicated to creative AI. What kind of opportunities, exciting opportunities, in your opinion, are you starting to see?
It's still quite early in the AI journey for visual effects. In the last 2 years, we've seen all the big VFX houses starting to create their own tools. Netflix have just taken on Ben Affleck's company, which is training a model. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen in the coming years. Are we going to have VFX houses who've trained a tool on a specific area, so productions will be split out more to different companies who've trained in different areas? Or is a company going to become more of a generalist and be able to do everything? I think currently visual effects is responding to AI and not fully using it. And it's not a tool firmly in our toolbox yet, because we're still trying to work out what we can and can't do. I think at the start of a production, directors and VFX supervisors are sitting down and seeing what's relevant for that particular production, because it's not relevant everywhere.
And for you, looking ahead at AI and kind of a kind of general kind of landscape, is there anything you're hoping that it will solve your day-to-day problems, or anything with workflow?
I'm seeing it used when we've created storyboards. I'm seeing directors being able to use it and see how they can get shots moving. So I'm seeing it as a useful tool within communication and creative communication. The bit that I worry about is leaving younger members of our team and juniors behind, who some of their job roles are being moved to AI tools that'll do something called rotoscoping, which is cutting out, or something called tracking, so cameras following things in frame. And this is normally where our juniors will learn their craft, learn to speak in the world of work, and learn how to be in a visual effects company. And that's not happening. So my worry is the money, if there is any money being saved, that we should be using that to educate and nurture our younger talent, because I can see a gap in the staffing in about 5 years coming.
And the importance of that retraining or starting new training programs to facilitate that.
It's not happening in school. It's not happening even our teenager just got back and he's just done his homework in AI. And I can tell because he got everything right and he shouldn't have. Now, he knows how to use AI, but he doesn't know how to use it properly. And it's the same in university, especially in VFX. It is another tool in your toolbox, but how and where should I use it, and what are the ethics behind it? I feel like business-wise, we're in a good place. I feel education-wise, we're years behind and we need to catch up quickly.
Well, on that note, I'm going to say thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for wonderful insights. Thank you for watching. I've been Ruchikid, and this has been the AI Summit London.